And good evening, everyone. I will now open this chamber for our July 28th, 2025 Township of East Brunswick Council meeting. Will everyone please rise if you can and remain as you are for our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Remain standing for a moment of personal reflection. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Township Clerk, please call roll and read our statement of adequate notice. Thank you.
Councilman Bahal?
Here.
Councilman Wendell?
Here.
Councilwoman Winston?
Here.
Councilwoman Zambicki? Absent. And Council President McAvoy?
Here.
Also present, Administrator Joseph Cuscolo?
Here.
And Township Attorney Joseph Palumbit.
Here.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required under Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, by specifying the time, date, location, and to the extent known, the agenda, by posting a copy on the bulletin board located in the main lobby of the East Brunswick Municipal Building, providing a copy to the Home News Tribune and the Asbury Park Press newspapers, posting a copy on the Township's website, and by filing a copy in the office of the Township Clerk, which will be entered into the minutes.
Thank you. Council, you have before you Resolution 25-253, adopting the meeting minutes from our July 14th council meeting. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Is there a need for a correction or clarification to these minutes? Please call roll.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. Council, I have a Resolution 25-254, accepting the retirement of Robert McDonald. May I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Councilman Wendell,
Thank you.
would you do the honors and read our resolution into the record?
Mr. McDonald, Ms. Sandler, anybody want to join? Dawn, you want to come up? You girls?
And I have a son, too. He gets lost in the mix.
Oh, I didn't even see him there. But listen, this is truly an honor for me. Rob and I grew up together. We played football at St. Bart's Buffalo since we were, I don't know,
Yeah.
way high, and went to school together. And to be honoring him with this resolution tonight moves me, and it's a great honor for me to be reading this for him and his family. We have Resolution 25-254, resolution honoring and accepting the retirement for Robert McDonald. Whereas Robert McDonald submitted written notification to the Township of East Brunswick that he will retire from the East Brunswick Sewage Authority effective August 1st, 2025, which is this week. And whereas Robert McDonald began his career with the East Brunswick Sewage Authority on July 5th, 1988, he assumed the role of sewer utility technician in 2017 and was later promoted to sewer service worker 3, equipment operator in 2021, a position from which he will retire effective August 1st, 2025. Whereas throughout his 37 years of service to the township, he has demonstrated exemplary characteristics to the Township of East Brunswick through his work ethics, dedication, leadership, team spirit, and enthusiasm to his duties. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of East Brunswick that Robert McDonald's retirement is hereby accepted with an effective date of August 1st, 2025. Be it further resolved by the Mayor and Township Council of the Township of East Brunswick that they hereby extend their sincere and grateful appreciation to Robert McDonald for his 37 years of dedication and outstanding service to the Township of East Brunswick. Congratulate him as well as well-earned retirement and wish him happiness and good health in his years to come. I would also like to indicate that Rob ran the park ranger program as the head park ranger for
32 years.
32 years. So, you know.
Started the park ranger program.
He was out there, as I was involved in youth sports, he was out there all the time, putting the guys together, and that would monitor events, monitor the parks, and all of that, and, you know, which was probably a job that was thankless, but gave him a lot of
It gave back-
exposure.
Gave back to
Exposure.
the community.
Yeah,
I always
a lot
use
of
it that way.
exposure.
Gave back to the community a lot.
And I'd always see him directing traffic somewhere.
Yeah.
Parking cars. But, Rob, congratulations.
Jimmy, thank you.
Here's a copy of your resolution.
Thank you.
I don't know if you want to say anything, or?
I do want to thank you. I want to thank the council for recognizing me. I want to thank my fellow firemen, which has been a huge part of my life for 41 years. I talk about bleeding green. You talk about bleeding green. You talk about bleeding green. We grew up in the same neighborhood. We're all from East Brunswick. We're from here. This is our town. This is what we love. This is what we put our heart and soul into. I appreciate that the council has recognized me. The outpouring of love from the fire company will always be in my mind. Thank you.
Fantastic. Rob, can you film me at the end of the photo?
We'll do some photos of some family. Okay. And then we'll bring all the firemen up for the firemen. Behind you.
Bring up those grandbabies.
Yeah, really, somebody's had to take a picture.
Yep, yeah. Feel free.
Okay.
Bring in the fire department, please.
Well, guys, Bill Fox was mayor when I started, put that in perspective. Wow.
Five mayors.
Five mayors on state. Five mayors.
Yeah. How about we do 2 rows, otherwise we're not going to do Tell people to front.
I just take a firehouse.
Push that over
So this side. So this side, if you guys want to do 2 on the other side too. Okay. You guys can't even pretend to be happy?
You do both.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good seeing you. Enjoy your night.
Yeah, thanks a lot. You're good. Rob did. Yeah, he did.
Okay, Rob.
Take care, Rob.
We'll see you in the park.
Yeah, see you now. Take care, Aaron.
Did we do, for McDonald's? We didn't do roll call?
Chair,
We're all in favor.
Keith said yes to every all.
All right, everybody in favor of that one, give me an aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it, thank you. Council, at this time, we will receive a presentation from Mr. John Farina regarding the 2024 municipal audit. Mr. Farina, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. McAvoy, and thank you to all the council members for having me here tonight to present the results of the 2024 audit of the Township of East Brunswick. Before I get started, I always like to start these presentations by thanking and acknowledging the client staff for their cooperation during the audit. I look back, we used a file sharing software to gather all of our information that we need for the audit. Angel and her team started uploading documents, I think it was February 10th, and I think the last date was June 28th that we received something on that file sharing system. So over 4 months of back and forth providing documentation for us for the audit. And I had a little extra time today, so I looked and it was over 1,500 documents were provided for the audit. So really just want to throw that number out there because we are the auditors, that's what we do, but during the audit, the client has to go over and above their normal duties to help us get the job done. And they're really very responsive here and get us stuff quickly. And it's good information when we do get it. So that should be noted. Happy to report that the audit was completed on June 30th. That was the deadline for municipal audits this year. And the township earned an unmodified opinion on the audit, which is the highest level of opinion that we are allowed to give. Just to give you a little background on what we do during the audit, we focus on internal controls. Internal controls are systems in place that provide assurance that the information put into the accounting software is good. There's proper approvals, the numbers are right, the dates are right, the accounts are right. We test a lot of areas of internal controls, and I'm happy to report there was no major issues in any of the areas we tested this year, and which was a big contributing factor to the unmodified opinion. Also, as part of our audit, we do what's called a single audit, which arises if there's a certain level of federal and state spending. This year, we had to test both federal money and state money because each had over $750,000. We tested the American Rescue Plan money as well as that was the federal side, and on the state side, we tested the DCA money related to the ice rink. And happy to report no instances of noncompliance were found when we did our test work. As far as the financial results go of the audit, you have in your hand. Strong results again this year. Current fund balance increased by about $5 million this year. You have 5 utility funds. With the exception of the parking utility, all the other funds operated at a profit this year. The parking utility did break even, but it required a contribution from the current fund as well as American Rescue Plan money to break even. So overall, very good audit. Again, the highest level of opinion we could give, and great job to everybody. So I'll open it to any questions anybody may have.
All right, I'll just take the bull by the horn. And Angel, if you feel the need to chime in on this, please do. The one thing that I cannot do, Mr. Farina, is tell you what page I'm on because there are no page numbers. Maybe that can be they can rectify that for next year.
We could do that.
I'm about 2/3 of the way through the audit. I'm on a O'Connor Davies professional page. And I'm on that 3rd page with the report on internal control over compliance.
Yes.
Right? A deficiency in internal control over compliance exists when the design or operation of a control over compliance does does not allow management or employees in the normal course of performing their assigned function to prevent or detect and correct non-compliance with the type of compliance required of a federal or state program on a timely basis. Can you comment on that?
That is standard language that is in all of those reports. There were no deficiencies. That's just saying that if there were a deficiency, that's describing what the deficiency would be.
And you had mentioned something about the state and the federal, so there was
Correct.
not a problem there.
Not a problem with any of the state or federal money.
Moving down a couple of pages, Township of East Brunswick notes to the schedule of expenditures of federal awards and state financial assistance, that's the heading.
Yeah.
The accompanying schedule of expenditures of federal awards and state financial assistance are presented using the basis of accounting as described in note number 2 to the Township's regulatory basis financial statements. Therefore, some amounts presented in the schedule may differ from amounts presented or used in the preparation of the regulatory basis financial statements. Is this a problem, or is it just a...
No, it's just a function
comment?
of the basis of accounting that New Jersey requires, which is,
Very good. I like
Yes.
these easy responses.
I like the easy questions.
I move down to a schedule of officials in office and surety bonds. And, I see you did the correct, no. I thought Mr. Wendell's name was spelled incorrectly, but there is double L's there on the bottom, so I stand correct. I wanted to make sure that was correct. Finding finding number 2004-001. During the audit of procurement documentation, we identified one of 10 purchases tested that required competitive quotations from the local public law contracts, parenthesis, NJSA, blah, 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 close parenthesis. The township did not obtain the minimum written quotations. Can you explain this, and is this a problem?
Local public purchasing law requires that if anything, a purchase is over the quote threshold, which is 15% of the bid threshold, that you're required to get quotations, not formal bids. You don't have to advertise, but you should reach out to multiple vendors to get prices. We found one instance.
1 out of 10.
1 out of 10, where that did not happen.
Right.
And hasn't happened before. So we felt it was an isolated incident, but we felt it should be commented on. And
Council President.
Got it.
If you refer to your resolution tonight, Resolution 25-255 is a resolution with a corrective action plan on how to remedy that in the future. So we have a plan in place, and Angel and a company have already started working on that prior to the report.
Can't expect Angel to be perfect. So having one out of 10, I'll accept that. And finally, on cybersecurity, as part of its overall risk management, the township reviews security measures in place relating to its information technology, including the use of specialized assessments. With the ever-increasing challenges related to cybersecurity, each organization determines what particular assessment or combination of assessments best fits its information security strategy. We suggest management continue to assess risks related to cybersecurity along with the utilization of specialized assessments, which would also include a periodic reporting mechanism to those charged with governance. My point, your cybersecurity comments seem to be short and narrow, but that's the recommendation. Is that because the audit process is not aligned with the IT? And in your professional opinion, are we reviewing security measures properly?
yes, we are. We include that blurb in all of our audits just because of lately there's been a lot of issues with specifically ransomware with government entities. I know we've spoken to Joe about this many times here, and with the JIF, they are, correct me if I'm wrong, but they are very strict on covering you, and
In the central JIF and the statewide JIF, where we're on the cybersecurity, we're a member of the cybersecurity statewide committee. Casey Wagner from Woodbridge is the primary contact there. On the secondary, we flip-flop every year. Last year, I was the primary, and we are at level 3 compliance, which is the highest level you can achieve. D2 is the company we utilize to do testing throughout the year. So more than just once a year, they do quarterly emails that we send out that actually are checking to make sure that people are following the guidelines. And as you all know, once a year, you got to take that wonderful cybersecurity class that everybody just loves to do. It's a requirement at the first level that all employees do that 1-hour training every single year. So we're not only at level 1, we're at the highest of the compliance level, which does, if we did have an event, reduce our deductible down very low. If you're not in compliance, you're looking at high deductibles as insured by the cyber JIF.
The interesting thing about the cybersecurity, and I've chatted with counsel about this, is there's always something new you can learn on that level. And sometimes, especially this year, it could be a bit scary.
yes.
Especially for the layman who is reading this information and saying, oh, I remember that. And then the warning light goes off and like, whoa, whoa. So that's why I brought it to your attention to make
Yes,
sure.
and that's not it's not a formal it's not a recommendation at all. It's just pretty
Right.
much a suggestion. Keep doing what you're doing in this case. Because
Actually, we're finding more and more official business being trapped by the spam catchers and the junk email catchers and put into the junk or spamware files. And we're finding that some of the people then have to call us and said, we sent you an email a week ago, 2 weeks ago, we haven't heard back from you, and they're not on our trusted email list. So we do take this very serious. And partly to your credit is you have funded those efforts to replace routers and hubs and all the software and keep us up with the proper levels of Windows. And as you know, in October, you have to be Windows 11, which is a huge expense to go from Windows 10 to 11, and we're headed in that direction. We'll be full compliant by October. I think a lot of towns may be vulnerable if they don't get that update done.
And then just the final comment is, when we receive this, it's sort of like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Because it's time. And we are elected officials and we are paid officials. And it is our responsibility to make sure that we have our due diligence completed. Thank you very much, Mr. Frame.
thank you very much, everyone. Have a great night.
Council, we have 3 ordinances that require a second reading and public hearing. Will Township Clerk please read ordinance 25-25?
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, amending ordinance number 24-35, fixing the grades, classifications, and grades and compensation of employees of the Township of East Brunswick, covering the United Services Workers Union, Local 255, IUJAT, formerly MEA.
I have a motion to approve
So moved.
and a second. Second. Council comments? I'll now open this matter to the public. Does anyone wish to speak on this matter only? I'll close the public portion. Township Clerk, could you please read ordinance number 25 hyphen, I'm sorry. Oh, roll call. Going a little quick there.
Councilman Bahal?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. And Ms. Lawful, will you please read ordinance 25-26?
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, amending ordinance number 24-36, fixing the grades, classifications in grades, and compensation of employees of the Township of East Brunswick, covering the Professional Managers Association, PMA, executive staff, and confidential employees.
Motion approved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. I'll now open this matter to the public for comment. Anyone wishing to speak on this matter and this matter only? Seeing no one, I'll close the public portion. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
And yes. And the third of these ordinances, the Township Clerk, would you please read ordinance 25-27?
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, amending ordinance number 24-37, fixing compensation for temporary, part-time, and seasonal employees for the year 2025.
May I have a
Motion
motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second? Thank you. Now open this matter to the public for comment. Seeing no one, I'll close the public portion. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. Well, I'll move on to our reports section. Our Business Administrator, Mr. Criscuolo.
Just want to reiterate what the Councilwoman Winston talked about 2 weeks ago. We did send out final notices for replacement of the water meters and radios. If you haven't done so, this is only for people that have received the letter saying that they need to be replaced. We're asking residents to schedule that as soon as possible so we can move on with the technology to better serve the public and do proper record keeping. So once again, we would appreciate contacting the firm Meter Tech, who does the work for us, and scheduling a date and time to get your meter updated. That's all I have this evening, sir.
Thank you. Our Township Attorney, Mr. Palumbit.
Thank you, Council President. Nothing to report.
Thank you. Our Township Clerk, Ms. Lawful.
I have nothing to report.
Council members, any board or committee updates? Councilwoman?
Regarding branch collection, just wanted to share this information because some residents have been inquiring lately. Branches are collected separately from the regular scheduled solid waste collection. For curbside collection of branches, call the Office of Recycling, 732-390-6984, to be placed on the collection list. Submit your information by Friday before the third week of the month to be placed on the schedule. Tie and bundle branches. Bundled branches must be no longer than 4 feet long and weigh no more than 50 pounds. Branches do not go into biodegradable bags or containers. Residents may also drop off unbundled branches at the recycling center Monday through Saturday, 7:30 a.m. through 3:30 p.m. And just a reminder, it's for East Brunswick residents only. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Winston. I know that Mr. Criscuolo sent out, he sort of sent me a reminder, and I blasted that away on my personal Facebook page so that, everybody can, not everybody, you know what I mean, that percentage who's paying attention. It's important that we get these streets nice and clean. Now open this portion of the meeting to the general public. Township Clerk, will you read our public comment statement?
The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the council's attention their concerns or comments. In accordance with NJSA 10:4-12A and the East Brunswick Rules of Council, the council asks the public to limit their comments to 5 minutes or less. At the conclusion of the statements or questions from a member of the public, the council president, at his discretion, may choose to respond or not respond.
Thank you. Anyone wish to address the council president? Please.
Anthony Sorciello, longtime resident. We're down a couple tonight. I hope they're going to watch. One was my teacher. The other one I pump iron with sometimes.
Can we get your name and address?
On Dunham's, Anthony Sorciello. I've got baseball. Oh, but you're here. Yeah, I've known him since I was her age. They have the same birthday. I've got 4 matters I want to bring up. One's actually a question, but the first one is Crystal Springs. I'm a former employee. We used to be open till 8 every night. It's 93 degrees out right now. The place was never designed well, but there is a way to go half-staff if you really wanted to keep it open so that people could go swimming in the evening hours when it is still very muggy out in this town, as we all know. We all, suffer through this, but without the pool opening till 8, like, people are just going to want to, build pools if they can. That's more wasted water. Milltown next door, their pool's open till 8 every night. So I'm hoping for 2026 that we can revert back to the 8 p.m. close. I might actually buy a membership, and I don't do it right now because I work till 5-ish, and what am I going to do? Get 30 minutes of swimming in before they kick us out at 5:30, 5:45? Second matter is a question, and I don't know the answer, but maybe all of you do or one of you do. Landscapers, they're a professional service. Are they allowed to start at 8 a.m. or earlier than that? Because do we know the ruling there?
Yeah, we know the ruling, but this is, just so you know, the open mic for you, it's not a,
Okay.
it's not a conversation.
Okay.
So I will, Mr. Crisculo, can we find that information on the
Yeah,
township
they're
website?
allowed to start at 7 a.m. weekdays, just like construction, and
Okay.
8 a.m. on Saturdays.
There we go.
Okay, if that's allowed, then I wasn't sure. I thought it was 8, but they're blowing at 7 a.m., and that's pretty early.
It's not like we have a full house for
Yeah.
question and answers. That's
Okay.
why within the rules that we use, it limits it just to comments, but go ahead.
Okay. The third thing wasn't a huge issue, but now it's becoming one. In many roads in this town, the yellow median lines, they haven't been repainted, especially on Church Lane, Fresh Ponds, over at the Jug Handle near Care One and Kaylin Dance Studio. The double line is not there. These things used to get painted pretty much every year, but now that, like, there's been just more traffic in general, some of them have been going on several years to the point where you can barely see it. Last week, I almost had a head-on collision on Church Lane because the girl crossed the line by 3 feet that she couldn't see. But I mentioned Church because back in like early May, a lot of the road got patched up. And I figured, okay, maybe in a week or two, they're going to paint it. It's been going on 3 months. So, it's all over town. Some spots better than others. Fern Road is fantastic. Every road should look as good as Fern, in my view. But we got to have more paint on the roads. It's just not safe. And along with that, there's a couple spots where there might be some missing signs, like a do not enter. But the yellow paint, it's a small deal until it's not. When you have a head-on or someone gets in an accident that could be significant or worse. And along with that, the biggest reason I'm here tonight is because I have had to call the police several times, probably somewhere between 5 and 10, because 18-wheeler trucks are driving up and down my street at all different hours. And I looked up the fine. It is a $2,000 fine per occurrence that the town is not writing to these drivers. I don't know why, but the trucks are using my street as a way to get to the warehouses in Monroe and South Brunswick, where there's just tons of them. But there's posted signs, at the corner of Riders and Dunham's, anything over 4 tons, not allowed. Same thing at the other end, at Fern, coming in. There's posted signs, and it's quite damaging to the road for, it's designed to handle 4 tons, and 18-wheelers weigh about 15 tons, so they're almost 4 times the limit. Meanwhile, our roads are getting beat up pretty bad, and even some of the more moderate-sized trucks, they're definitely over 4 tons. I had a sedan that was just under 2 tons, and that's a sedan. So, I would like to see that law get more enforced, and you could easily write tickets tomorrow, and you'd bring in 20 grand to the town. There would be at least 10 occurrences. A lot of times they're running these trucks at 2, 3 in the morning. I hear them, I see them. I'm up at all different hours. They're just destructive to the roads. They're not safe for the kids. Roads like Cranberry Road, they're designed for more commercial type traffic. They should not be using our, more modest side streets.
And what road are you on?
Dunham's.
You're on Dunham's?
Yeah, specifically between Riders Lane and Church Lane, no trucks are allowed. After Church, they're allowed.
Okay. Thank
That's
you.
it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Anthony. Council President, if I may.
Please.
Can we just ask traffic safety to look into, A, doing maybe targeted enforcement on that area?
Exactly.
For the trucks?
We have about 32 targeted enforcement areas that are rotated throughout the town. So at any one time, they're at one of those locations, depending on what shift it is. But I will certainly double check. I know that Dunham's is on the list. I can only speak for that, and Churches as well, because it's a cut through to get to North Brunswick and the
Right.
Route 130 and 1.
And we could
But
have
I will
traffic
talk-
safety
I
look
will
at the
talk to,
paint too on the roads?
excuse me?
We could have
into the-
traffic
yeah.
safety look at the paint on the
Yeah.
roads as well?
And I would just ask you to continue to call the police department, so at least they have that on file, so they know that it's occurring. And if you want, give me your name and number when, at the end of the meeting, I will have the Lieutenant, Charlie Boble, give you a call from Traffic Safety, and you can have a discussion with them on what you're seeing and so on. I did make a couple calls to ShopRite, who has a large warehouse right over the border in Monroe, and they're very responsive. These are trucks that are coming from Elizabeth down to the distribution center there. They have GPS now on the trucks themselves, and they are watching what route they're taking, and if they're not, the haulers are penalized for that. So I hope that will help. The call went back out to them last Thursday, but if it's a ShopRite truck, if you give the mayor's office a call, that's an easy follow-up.
They're pretty good. Amazon's not.
Okay.
Would anyone else like to address the council president?
Churches allowed.
Yes.
They're allowed.
Joseph Schmidt, Lois Avenue, East Brunswick. This is about the meters that are being sent out to get replaced. I had mine replaced in 2019, approximately, I don't remember exactly. And so it's a pretty new one. And there's an issue with the more modern ones. There are a couple different problems with it. But I was talking to Harry Glazer today. He's in Highland Park. I think he's an advocate he's appointed somehow as an advocate in the government for the town council about people. And there was a whole thing in Highland Park about those new meters, that there might be an issue with Shabbos and using the meters, because he can get into more details about it if he wants to talk about detail about it. But there might be an issue with certain types of meters might need to be used for Shabbos that you don't have other kinds of digital ones. The digital one I has a cover on it, and it closes, and therefore there's no numbers showing up, and there's a discussion about it. And some people hold you one way and some people hold the other way, but is an actual thing in Jewish law about the actual meters that only some of them comply and some of them don't.
Council President?
Please.
Mayor Cohen can talk at length of this. He's talked to a couple of rabbis throughout the state regarding this
Okay.
topic. And so I'm sure he'll be happy to give you what he's researched. But,
Right.
he's reached out when we started this project because those concerns did come into our office, and he did extensive research with that. And he's better versed at that than I am to discuss it, but it's pretty much been cleared up with the meters that we're using.
I don't know which type of rain or not. I know there are, I know that the Vater Abundum, which is a local rabbinical group, actually is the one that brought it up in Highland Park. Most of them are in Highland Park. So,
Well, these are people in East Brunswick.
Right, that's a Highland Park issue.
well, East Brunswick is also part of VOD. There are different rabbis in.
Right, that's why we'll wait till Mayor Cohen returns, and then he will be able to
Okay,
clarify
so that's
this.
one issue we're talking about, is the possible issue in there. I don't know, there's other questions about it too. I know people can have problems with meters and other things that have been going on when they get installed and being able to read them, and there's no manufacturer specs, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with that too. But a separate issue brings to a court case of children's health defense versus the FCC. The FDA joined Children's Health Defense against the FCC on this actual lawsuit. I do not remember how many years ago it was. The lawsuit was about for radio wave-based machinery and how the people use. and how it affects someone's biology. And apparently FCC was ignoring scientific information on it, which is why the FDA came, because they're supposed to protect people in that way. So the lawsuit was that they had to actually pay attention to how radio waves affect people. From my understanding is a lot of the big science behind it has to do with modular stuff. Like there's electromagnetic fields from the Earth because just how compass work. But for example, it's a stable field or compass wouldn't work.
Your point or your question is what?
There are issues with a constant stream. I'm trying to explain why there's issues with the constant stream of a modulated signal that's very powerful that goes into the street and all over the place, all the time. It might be, there's a less of an issue if, let's say, you have one day out of the month, okay, this is when they're coming down your street, and we'll turn it on, the EMF sends it out, because most of the general EMFs that people have issues with, most of them, if you go at night and you don't have them hitting you as hard, then you usually recover from any issues you might have had during the day. Unless someone's like in heavy issues with that, or somebody has a family history of having issues with EMFs. There is an effect from that. One of the lawyers mentioned, I was trying to say before, about it's like when you look at a fluorescent light that's flickering. Some people have seizures from it, some people are fine, various things happen. Modular radio signals don't just stay stable, they go up and down to get the ones and zeros, or if they're analog, they move all around. They modulate. They change a lot, they're not stable.
And finally, what is the question? What is the point?
The point is that if these meters are sending out these high levels of EMFs all over the place, it's a problem medically for people. For some people, maybe everybody, I don't know the exact details about it.
Don't know.
But definitely for some people at least, it's a medical issue.
Thank you.
All right. PSC&G does go and have a way to not have their meters that do that. You can have a normal meter.
Thank you.
I'm just saying. All right.
Anyone else wishing to address Council President? I see these two gentlemen sort of.
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Zahid Mahmood, and I am a resident living on Tall Oaks Drive. I'm here this evening to address the very purpose of public comment following a recent call to restrict speech in this chamber. I believe it was the last meeting. First, a dangerous precedent is set when we mislabel principled political speech as hate speech. When our neighbors come to this podium to speak about the actions of a foreign state, citing international human rights reports on war and the devastating humanitarian crisis, they are not attacking people for who they are are questioning policy. That is not hatred, that is conscience. This leads directly to the core issue, the town's sister-city relationship. The argument has been made that this partnership is merely cultural and educational. But an official partnership is never neutral. It is a political act. It is a symbolic handshake that lends our town's good name and moral standing to another community. It was this town council that approved the resolution 17551, approving sister-city relationship on November 28, 2022. Therefore, when residents learn of a humanitarian crisis involving the nation where our sister city is located, it is not only their right, but arguably their responsibility to come here and ask, does this official handshake still represent the values of East Brunswick? That question is not a distraction. It is the very definition of township business. It is a profound question of policy, principle, and a town's character. To suggest that residents should remain silent on this matter is to ask them to ignore their conscience in the name of civility. Our town's strength is not found in comfortable silence, but in its courage to face difficult truths. I urge you to recognize this discussion for what they are, a legitimate and necessary debate about our town's official policies and what we stand for as a community. Thank you. I do want to add about the incidents of hate. I personally have experienced dog feces left on my driveway, Star of David confetti left in front of my driveway 3 times in the last 2 months. I've reported it to the police department, and every single time, except for the last one, because I haven't seen the report that happened a week and a half ago, they have failed to identify or list it as an issue that it is, a targeted hate act on a visible Muslim family who is against war. I'd like to remind the council that this is the situation that I have to deal with. And the police department is not, they are responsive, they show up, they talk about, they ask for evidence, but it's not being logged as the issue that it is. Thank you.
Council, Mr. President, first thing, we're going to lose a 7-Eleven on Riders Lane and Summer Hill Road. That's closed now. I read an article that New Jersey spent $7.3 billion on services for 894,000 illegal immigrants this year. And that amounts to $8,165 per immigrant. Is this why our taxes are going up? I mean, this is a question I have a feeling that's one of the reasons. Now, the other thing is, when you build all these homes that were coming up here, is that going to help reduce our taxes or raise them? All right? And thirdly, Englishtown Racetrack is not going to be there no more. They're going to build 600 affordable homes. I have friends in that area, and right away they says, oh, my taxes are going to go up. That's what I want to know, if it's a reason. So, because I only got an estimated bill for 3 months this past month for my taxes. I usually get the whole year. So, between these two things, I think that's why our taxes are going up. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ingrasini.
Kevin Sexton.
Your address, Mr. Sexton? In case we need to contact you.
I'm a resident of the town, sir.
You want to leave it at that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good evening, Council President. First, I want to acknowledge how lucky we are to live in this town. Our street was recently paved, and Mr. Kipp and his team did an excellent job keeping residents informed. The Waste Department sent trucks back immediately when they missed our street, and I can't say enough good things about our police department. Our township employees really are a tremendous asset to this town and our residents. I did want to address a few things. A few weeks ago, my wife called me while driving home. She was sitting at Delight on Route 18 in Titus by the new apartments. Our infant son was in the back seat. She was afraid. She didn't know what to do. An individual was walking down the row of cars and kicking at them while screaming. While it's easy to dismiss this as an emotionally disturbed person, imagine her fear. Imagine my unease. Just last week, as I was at the Auto Zone on Route 18 across from Irwin's school at around 8 p.m., as I pulled into the parking lot, I encountered what appeared to be hundreds of people spinning their wheels, blasting music, and drinking in the parking lot. When I entered the store, it was packed. I saw an individual enter the store, gather a large amount of merchandise from the shelves, look around, and then depart without paying. When I asked the cashier if he saw him, he said yes, but he was too busy to do anything. When I asked if these car meets happen often, he said that they do. We are currently raising the 4th generation of my family here in this town. I've grown up watching this town change from a peaceful suburban community with plenty of open space to one that's becoming increasingly dense, congested, and unfamiliar. I know that based on reported data, certain categories of crime in this town are down. But I also know what I see, and I know I'm not alone. Today, what many of us are experiencing is something that doesn't show up in official statistics. A rise in quality of life issues. More panhandling, more shoplifting, more loitering, more visible homelessness. These things may not get logged into crime databases, but they're changing how safe and connected people feel in this town. And we have to ask, why now? The answer seems increasingly tied to how we're building. The shift towards large-scale apartment developments may meet housing obligations, but it's also eroding our town's cohesion. High-density apartments, especially those built without corresponding investment in infrastructure, green space, or community programs, often result in less interaction between neighbors, less accountability, and less shared identity. People live next to each other, but not with each other. An elected township official recently said in an event that he was tired of hearing residents complain that the township is not what it was 30 or 50 years ago. I resent that. Residents are allowed to be upset. East Brunswick doesn't feel the way it used to, and that's not nostalgia. It's about planning decisions that are reshaping our town's character in ways that deserve more scrutiny. There are members of this council that, like myself, have been here for generations. Members that claim that they appreciate the agricultural heritage of this town, and I urge this council to take a step back and consider not just how many units we're building, but what kind of town we're becoming, and whether we're safeguarding the quality of life for those of us who have been proud to call East Brunswick home for many years. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak to the council president? Seeing none, I'll close the public portion. And we'll now move on to our consent agenda.
Motion approved.
A second on that, please?
Second.
Council President, if I
Please.
may, I just want to speak on one of the resolutions.
Okay.
25-262, which is a resolution authorizing a change order number 1 with Ice Builders Incorporated.
Okay.
From $3.95 million to $4,075,000
All right.
for the ice rink systems project.
What's that, a difference of $125,000?
$125,000. That is an estimate based upon Mr. Kipp's calculations.
Good,
I've spoken to Mr. Kipp about this.
good.
He contacted me early last week when he first found out about it. This Ice Builders Incorporated is a secondary contractor that we hired to build the ice rinks themselves inside. And what is going on here is on one of the rink areas, we have a need to remove fill material, recompact, and add new fill material, and that's what this is for. I've asked Mr. Kipp, and I've also indicated to Mr. Crisculo, knowing my involvement with construction projects, that we put both Legacy Place, who built the pad for those ice rinks for us, and if they didn't build them to a proper specification, that they should be held responsible for at least a portion of this. I've also indicated that we should put Terminal Construction, which is the general contractor who worked with machines on top of those ice areas and should have had them protected in such a way that it didn't deteriorate the compaction. And I've also asked that we check to see if we had third-party inspections, or if Legacy Place had third-party inspections prior to us turning the project over to Terminal Construction, to understand the compaction of these areas. I do believe there's no reason to halt this.
Okay.
It needs to get done. I would just like to put these 3 persons on notice that we're going to continue our research on this and try to get a full understanding as to where the responsibility lies. It's not my opinion that the responsibility should be the responsibility for this all bearing on the municipality.
So you can meet again with Mr. Kipp and Mr. Crisculo and come to a consensus?
Yes, well, I believe one of our attorneys, Mr. Lonsky, is putting
I did overhear that, right.
those persons on notice for us.
Good.
And when we complete our due diligence and figure out, where our responsibility could lie, then we will have to determine, what the costs were and how we get our reimbursement from
Okay.
them.
And Council President, when Mr. Wendell explained to me his concern earlier this evening, I texted Mr. Kipp, and naturally he said, how can I help? So I said to him, did we put Terminal Legacy on notice? He said yes and yes. Did we get compaction test prior to the start of construction? And his answer was affirmative, yes.
Okay.
So I just want to go on record
Right.
that I did confirm with Keith, because I was not sure if I know we put Legacy on notice, but I didn't know about the other situations. And Keith was happy to follow up with me, and I was glad that I was able to share that with you this evening. And I'll talk again with Keith and Mr. Lonsky.
Yeah, because
And Mr. Lonsky as well.
Yes.
it's my history in this business that indicates that if someone turns over a compacted pad, which is ready to be built on, to a general contractor, then the general contractor needs to protect that area and be responsible to make sure it was as presented to them when it first began. So, you know, I just didn't want it to go unnoticed
Got
or
it.
undiscussed, and make sure that we put those people on notice so that they're aware that we don't feel that we bear the sole responsibility for this.
Got it. Roll call?
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. Council, we have an ordinance 25-28 for introduction. Township Clerk, will you please read?
An ordinance of the Township of East Brunswick, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 228, zoning of the Township Code of the Township of East Brunswick.
Can I have a motion to approve and a second?
Second.
Do we need any clarification or comments from, would you take care of that?
Thank you, Council President. Just real quick, a few weeks ago, you adopted an amended massage establishment ordinance. With that, we did some zoning changes. In making those zoning changes, we actually made the prohibited use, made the normal massage establishment a prohibited use in several zones. So what we're doing is we're correcting that. We're changing it back to massage parlor, which has a specific definition under the zoning ordinance, and it's different than the massage establishment that we have in our newest massage establishment ordinance.
Clarify, that's good.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Hall?
Yes.
Councilman Wendell?
Yes.
Councilwoman Winston?
Yes.
And Council President McAvoy?
Yes. Before we go to the cause, I think I just would like to shout out to the East Brunswick VFW Post, right? 133 for organizing and running their annual 5K event this past weekend. Tommy Coolhill, whose personality and name often surfaces during our meetings. Him and his fellow members and sponsors, especially East Brunswick Education Association, we greatly appreciate all of their work. Those in favor of adjournment, please signify with an aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Good night, everyone.